ask and it will be given seriously? Or is it just a bunch of spiritual thought? Or is there something real going on? Can you really turn your thoughts into things, and can you create your own reality? And what does that have to do with running your business from the place of freedom? Or can you just sit back, relax, and just think about your business in a positive kind of way and make it run itself just by thinking about it? Well, that's what this episode is about. And welcome to the new episode. I'm Edita, and this is From Grind to Grace, the podcast for the alternative entrepreneur, for the entrepreneur who is ready to flip the script and choose freedom first, when freedom is not a destination, when freedom is the path. Because when you stop grinding and start creating from the place of freedom, success just tags along for the ride. So let's make this the new standard, the default in our industry, for yourself, for your children, and for humanity. The big question is, what are you supposed to do to be in that place, in the place of freedom? And that's what I explore on this podcast, and that's what I ask my guests about. And today, I have an amazing guest to talk about some fluffy stuff. Or not. We'll see. It's super, super cool to hear what she has to say. She's my fellow ex-European Dutch from the Netherlands. Now she lives in Leo, which looks very beautiful. I was looking at the photos. Looks amazing. And I want to welcome on my podcast, I want to welcome you, Ineke of Ineke. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name. And I'm so excited because something clearly clicked with you. This happened so fast. We just met. I don't know that much about you, but at the same time, I feel like I know you. I don't know. Something is up in the air, right? So, very welcome. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for letting me ask you questions. And thanks for being here for my audience as well. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Edita. What a lovely introduction. And it's really a pleasure to be here and having this exchange together with you and together with the audience. So I cannot wait to share, right?
What's the weather
Ask
like?
her
What's the weather
the
like?
weather. And it is the dry season. It's very warm. I would say if we express it in degrees, I'm sorry, I'm not very familiar in Fahrenheit because I am from Europe. We grew up with degrees Celsius. So it's about like during the day between 32 and 35 degrees Celsius. In the night, it cools down. As I said, it's the dry season. Usually we have no wind, and sometimes now out of the blue, winds start to come, and then they suddenly stop as well. So it's very, I would say, dry and hot.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's beautiful anyway. Like out of my office window, beautiful trees, palm trees, blue sky with some clouds,
I'm feeling
and love.
jealous. we
Sorry?
it's springtime here, but we woke up this morning to some amount of snow. It's actually enough snow to make a snowman. It's beautiful, actually. It looks very beautiful, very quiet. When there's snow, it kind of everything just comes down and the snow absorbs the noise, so it's not gonna stay. It's not gonna stay here for a long time. Anyway, how did you end up there? Like, is it the weather? Is it some sort of opportunities? Give me some insights into your own journey.
Yeah. So I will do it in a nutshell because so many things to talk about, right?
Yeah.
And 13 and a half years back, me and my partner started to travel. We met a year before in Netherlands in during a sweat lodge ceremony somewhere in the northeast of Netherlands. So we obviously like new things, right? And then we melted our travel plans together, and we started in September 2011 in Indonesia, went to Nepal, randomly came to Laos, and we really wanted to get off the beaten track, a bit out of the tourist role, being fully in nature next to locals. And so we stayed in next to yeah, it's actually famous Southeast Asian turquoise waterfalls. It's called Kwangsi Waterfalls. And we stayed in a local guest house. I think it was by then just one guest house with some bungalows. And the owner was watering the plants end of the day. And we said, yeah, we want to stay longer. And can we make a price for a month or something? He said, yeah, sure. And after a few weeks, we staying there. She asked us to come with her to. She wanted us to show us a plot of land, and so we went over steep land through the water. Came to the premise, and then she said, "Yeah, you can lease the land." And I said to my partner, "What is this?" A strange question. She seemed really nice, and I was still like, okay. And he got really inspired. Like he's a designer with everything basically,
Mhm.
and I love nature and new things and organizing and other cultures. So we said maybe if we could have a good idea. So anyway, we stayed for 2 months, moved on to Costa Rica, and there we saw a tiny butterfly house. And then we said, hey, shall we do something with butterflies, because we had seen many, because it's so lush in nature, Laos in general, and especially that area next to the waterfalls and forest. And I said, yeah. As a child, I was obsessed with nature conservation, wrote little notes to the neighbors, don't flush the toilets when you only have peed and these things. And we called her when we were in now we were in Ecuador then, and we said, yeah, we want to start a butterfly park. She said, oh, beautiful. And then we returned in October 2012, and we started to build a bridge, like, and that's how it all
Mm.
and since 11 years we have been successfully up and running, and yeah, living as the only white people in in that little community next to the local Lao people, having local people
Which
working
is
with us,
so
some guy.
so
Yeah.
exciting, right? I mean, and you get to see the real life, the real local life,
Yes.
and you connect with the country, with the environment much better that way, and it's so
Yes.
natural, I imagine. Yeah. So that's quite a journey, actually. This place and that place and then to another place. So that's like not for everyone, right? I mean, most
Yeah.
people, I guess, they have certain reservations in terms of, moving like that, you know. But I would like to actually dive into our main topic and why, yes, it's exciting.
LOA, law of
Why
attraction.
why the law of
Yeah.
attraction? What happened?
Yeah. Yeah, so interesting. 5 years back, when I was running our business, and we both run our business, and we, as partners, business partners, love partners, we have all our qualities, right? And 5 years back, I was a new mom. We have one son. He's now 6, and I was one, and I was just so sleep deprived because he woke up 4 times per night. I
Yeah.
had to breast. I wanted to breastfeed him and pumping because he didn't accept my boob anymore. I was involved in every layer in my business for what I believed then. And being busy with everybody else's well-being except my own well-being. So I basically fell off my own pedestal that I was a superwoman and not a not above natural, right? So it was still like, so I was like, oh, I ended up in my own negative thought looping. I felt very stuck. I very felt like hitting a ceiling, like, really, is this life is about? This is my life, and I had just have to accept this? Like, oh, and I was so fed up with my own toxicity. And as well, of course, my partner and I were fighting, clashing as well, in a way which felt not me, like really shouting. And
Like you were saying things you didn't really want to say, right?
sure, absolutely,
I know
absolutely,
that
like really
situation.
ugly, really
Mm.
ugly. Yeah. And I thought I just want to stop this. How to stop this? This cannot be it. And I remembered honestly a note from a volunteer from way back then and a little scrape, and I had written the name Louise Hay. You might know her. She's one of these public speakers. She passed away a couple of years back, and she was a law of attraction speaker and liver and encourager. And she had a very intense childhood herself. And then she stepped into that world, and it totally flipped her perception, her feelings about herself. And for me, she came in my reality, in my world, as like, oh, she is like that grandmother or that favorite auntie who can just lovingly share where to start, like how to start to allow myself to connect with me again and really start to like, oh, I am actually love, and how to become really supportive for myself back again, instead of like, you don't do this good, and you don't, like, the harsh self, right? You might recognize this. And then I felt like, oh, I have a choice. Everything what I think or say is an affirmation. It has a frequency, and I get to choose. And that was such for me the emergency exit,
I have
honestly.
many questions, but actually on that note, I just want to share something. So just behind in that cupboard there, behind the door, you can see it from here. But we are my daughter and I. My daughter is 8, so similar, a very similar situation. I was an immigrant. I was in Ireland when my daughter was born, and oh my God, it's no family around. It's basically pretty crazy, right? Anyway, so the shear, we are doing the rice experiment with my daughter. And, like we have 3 jars with rice. One has love, the next one has hate on it, and the third one has ignore. So we speak love or hate depending on the jar, and the ignore jar, we don't pay attention to it. Like we don't do anything with it. It's just sitting. And so yesterday we were checking, um, you know, and we do it every day. And yesterday we were checking, and it's 2 weeks in, only 2 weeks in, and already we are seeing result. The one with the laugh on it is looking pretty much like on day one, you know. The second one, the hate one, is starting to brown, like especially at the top, like it's getting brown. And the third one, the ignore, is looking the worst. It's growing mold. And
Oh,
it's only 2 weeks. And we only talk to these guys for 1 minute max, for half a minute each. We send love to the one with the love sticker on it, and hate, we just repeat, I hate you, we hate you, you look ugly, you know, those kind of things. And I wasn't like, I was reading about this experiment, right? But I wasn't, I was skeptical. But it's happening. It's crazy. So that's what you're talking about, right? So it's what you're thinking, what you're saying, including what you're saying to yourself. By the way, we started talking to the love jar first on day one, and then moved to talking to the hate jar. And we switched the following day. We immediately switched because it felt so bad talking the hate words to this guy. So we wanted to start with the hate and move to the love. So then when we are done for the day, we are done on the positive note. It's
Right.
wow. So that's what you're talking about, right? When you what happened for you then? How did you, so you were struggling, then you found the law of attraction. So what happened for you? How did everything
I really
change?
unfolds. Yeah, it really felt that I have a choice. I had a choice how to react or to create, right? Because that's another story. But anyway, like we are all creators of our own reality, right? And that goes quite deep if we can talk longer about it, right? Though if we choose to react or to create, and I was mainly reacting to my world, what I believed, what and my beliefs. Like, oh, I have to be involved in everything. I'm responsible for somebody else's well-being. If my partner says this, then I react like that. And then I realized if I just create space for me, loving space, then I really could feel that I was fine. I didn't have to react toxic anymore. And I could, from that space for me, like I am okay, even not knowing yet what I do want, because that was even far away then. But just like, I am fine. If it feels good to react from a place of clarity or love, it's fine to react. If I feel anything else than that, then I'm just silent. And it,
Yeah, that is fascinating. And so, can you unpack a little bit about what you mean by saying space? Because I believe, and I used to be
yeah,
that same way for me as well, when space used to mean something physical. And maybe part of it
mm,
is, something that
yeah,
includes physical, especially if we lack actual physical space. But what do you really mean by saying creating space, and how
yeah,
do you do it?
yeah. So really in seconds, waiting and maybe even more in minutes waiting before responding. I just wanted to feel first. So give
Mm,
focus to my feelings first. If it felt like this is from a place of love, what I want to say, then I can. So that's what I mean with space. If it feels off, like it feels negative, then I just have to sort it out in myself first, because obviously I might have beliefs that I'm not worthy, that I don't look intelligent, that I'm not taking my responsibility. And I knew these were just all beliefs, right, in myself. So in that way, I really focused on like, okay, whatever I need now in time, I just focus to feel first. What do I feel right now? And if it feels like kind of love related, I can react. And that's the condition for me, because that's where my nourishment starts, where my well being connection with me starts.
mm. And so, you know what, I totally get it. And I mean, it makes sense. But have you been in situations, or do you find yourself in situations when you react so quick that you can't catch it? And before you know it, you say things you don't want to say, you do things you don't want to do, and then you beat yourself up later. And then you promise yourself, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna do it again. But then when that specific situation happens again, you do it again. How do you catch?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so how do you catch indeed? So for me, then it's just walking out of the situation. Just bite your tongue, literally bite your tongue and walk out.
Literally, like physically walk out.
Yes.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
really bite your tongue. Just don't open your mouth. Keep your mouth shut. Keep it shut.
And what if it has to do with, say, your kid who is small and you can't walk out? You just bite your
Yeah,
tongue.
yeah. It would be wishful because still biting your tongue. Or you can really start to, if you allow yourself, like, I notice this is really hard and I don't know what to do. Just kind of admitting that you kind of usually, my experience is you build anger or fear and then you start to spew, right? Because you just don't kind of like don't know what is appropriate in that situation. And usually your child needs space too, right?
Hmm.
It's just like it's exploring or it does something which we have a very other idea about. We want to prevent things or and as well like giving our child space to allow to experience. It is not personal. Maybe it feels personal because we interpretate like that.
Hmm.
And so it's really like, and then shut your mouth.
So how did So when did you start seeing a change, a positive change in your family, your relationship, and maybe even your business? What happened next?
Quite quickly because I really deliberately chose to not react, like not shouting anymore,
Um,
not just like the ugliness, these words which were hurting me and my partner. I was just like, so already I would say from the moment I made this decision for me, I think within a few days even already, I was like, wow. Because every time I check by myself again, like, hey, is this from a place of love? I will react or not. That was the only
mm.
indicator. How do I feel now? And otherwise, I just zip my mouth.
Okay, so how did it affect your business, the way you run your business at all?
I was so much better to delegate. I didn't believe, I stopped believing that I was necessary for other people's well-being.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was like a possible confrontation coming up, for example, between my partner and one of our staff, I thought, whatever happens, it's fine and it's their experience.
Mm.
So
Yes.
really like reframing my belief as well. Like I give allow them to have their experience. I don't have to fix anything. I don't have to solve anything. They are here for themselves and it's their
Oh.
experience.
Oh my God, I think so many of us fall into this trap trying to rescue others, thinking that we are being nice to them, that we are helping, we are supporting, we want this goodness and this freedom for everyone else, especially people we love, and then probably just creating dysfunction, more dysfunction in them by acting that way.
Exactly.
Besides,
Exactly.
probably we get, and I mean, not probably, I know that when something goes wrong, and it usually does, we get blamed, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Exactly.
So it's funny how do you distinguish between, and I imagine you will agree that what you do to others, you do to yourself. We are all interconnected. We are all one. How do you differentiate between helping in the way that doesn't serve and
Mhm.
that positive being there for them or whatever you call it. I don't know, but
Yeah,
you get
good
the idea.
question. Yes. So if you stay in your love alignment, right? And you want to help them from there, then it's fine. Though if you feel like kind of guilt or you feel really sorry for them and you kind of lowering your frequency, that's not the way to help. You understand?
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. So it's continue. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So the next question then is, you know, when I get into these topics and when I watch videos on the topic or listen to podcasts and experts tend to say you clearly know whether you're on the positive or the negative, like as in high energy or frequency or low frequency. But I have to be honest, I'm not always sure,
Right. Yeah.
right? How
I
do,
think yes. How yeah, if you're not sure how to still know if it's right to help, like it's not wrong anyway, right? If it's because sometimes we need the experience ourselves because we attracted that situation in our experience as well, and afterwards we can see and feel what we have learned from it, right? So allow yourself as well to really to not be too heady about it. So, and from
Mhm.
doing it more and more and kind of reflecting on the way back, like when it happened, like, hey, what did I take out of this? What do I believe I have created, or I've attracted this in my experience right now? It is so interesting because it's all interconnected. Maybe I make it too complicated. So there is no good or wrong. I always believe like if you feel like you don't have to get angry or anxious to help somebody else, but and you can feel fine, then you are fine. Like you still feel grounded, you still
Mhm.
feel clear, and then you help that other person. That's kind of ideal, right? Though again, it has two sides because it might be your experience. Just like, oh, now I feel a bit of anxiety and I feel like I have to act right now and maybe it helps preventing your child falling really badly, right? Or putting something in her mouth which you really want to avoid, or yeah,
Okay,
so
yeah.
many variations in here.
So do you teach now the law of attraction, right?
Yes, so I actually I am a coach, so I help female expat entrepreneurs to reignite with their inner spark by practicing the law of attraction so they can create joy and success in their life and business, however that looks like for them, right? Because
How did
that's
that
really,
happen? Yeah, how did that happen? That's very exciting. How did that happen? What happened for you to start this?
yes. So that happened actually during the pandemic period. Two things actually. During the pandemic period, everything was shut down. Laos was closed for 2 years and 2 months. And we stepped over our ego, asked our family members to help, and we created crowdfundings for the village people to continue to go to school,
Totally.
lunch for the kids, medicinal help for some elderly people, and rice. And I thought this is my moment to study what I already love for such a long time, and that is automolecular healthcare, like food timing, natural supplements towards female hormone balancing. Because I
Wow.
was developing acne in my neck, and I was like, I never had acne, like what's going on? And I was looking for supplements, and then I bumped into these courses. So now I have a diploma and quite some experience. So, and then because law of attraction is such a part of my life, um, really working with it. And they call it more advanced law of attraction, and I mean it's really practicing. It's like consistently practicing, not just like in a dull way, making affirmations and then not understanding why it doesn't work out, right? It's really committing from that energetic point of feeling, from doing it, from really practicing this and creating. So I bundled these two because my mission is that we are born really to feel that we will dance, that life is supposed to feel fun. And however that looks like for you, for me, that's unique. And that you are and we are so amazing in our uniqueness. And I feel like, especially women, because a long time I wanted to be a guy and I didn't understand because it was kind of male-oriented society, right? So I
Yes.
think I really feel like, oh, especially being a mom now and really connecting with females, it makes my heart sing. And female entrepreneurs, um, feeling their way in their vulnerability, in their strength. And then with this automolecular healthcare, with this food timing, like creating alignment, hormonal alignment in combination with really practicing law of attraction exercises, which are so much fun. And really, besides that, attracting what you want in your life, it just, I mean, it makes me want to fly to the moon. I just love to share this and share, right? Really, because it's so personal. What resonates with you is different for another person. So we really personalize this. And then these ladies, they start to feel connected with themselves back again, and not from beliefs from other people or like beliefs we have picked up along the trail, but actually, hey, what do I allow myself to feel, to think, what might to believe, and how to act on in a relationship, a health level, career, and money. So I'm just really very
Oh my
delighted
God,
about
you,
this.
and I can see it on your face. I mean, like in your energy, you are so excited about this. I can feel it.
Yes.
So, which makes such a huge difference. And when I talk about freedom first, that's what I mean. Like it's one thing, it's when we become an entrepreneur, most people like they jump into doing straight away, you know. And
Hmm.
we kind of have, then we run into this idea of working on your mindset, personal development, those kind of things, yeah, but doing. First doing. Now, I have to say the being part, working on myself is such a big part of my business, running my business, and I do sometimes get that, voice. I'm not doing what, like it's still, I'm still working on stopping myself and, convincing myself that this part where I'm just journaling or thinking certain thoughts or meditating or whatever, it is part of my business now. It is. It is.
Yeah.
And also, you see the results, right? When you get into that place, like even the way I found you, like things just start happening,
Very
right?
quick, right? Pop, 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 pop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it sounds like fluff when you don't know when you haven't experienced that, but it's real.
Yes.
It's it's
It
real. So
is real.
yeah, so tell me, actually, do you have a definition for the law of attraction? What is it anyway?
I say, like, as you already kind of a bit mentioned before, we are all one, right? So everything is in the universe. We are all part of the universe. That's all what exists. Some people call it the quantum field. I love that because it's just as spiritual as scientific.
Yeah.
So the heady people can relate to that, like Dr. Joe Dispenza, or the spiritual ones, and everybody in between, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or you can call it God. or a la how it feels for you. You know
Universe,
that.
source, yeah,
Yes, source, exactly.
creator,
And
yeah, many names.
yeah, exactly. And we are all part of this magnificent whole, right? And it's an attraction-based universe. That's just what it is. So, like the law of gravity, like we are on this plane Earth, we walk and we can stand, and we have the law of gravity. We have the law of attraction. The law of attraction is the manager of the universe. So it can only include, like it can only respond to what's how we think, feel, behave, or believe are. So these are all frequencies.
Yeah,
And so this is really how it has a frequency, like a radio dial.
yes,
So
and
like anger has a frequency, love has a frequency. So we can, guilt has a frequency, satisfaction has, I mean, all of these emotions and thoughts as well, because thoughts are related to emotions. It's like it goes together.
mhm. Yeah,
So I really see, yeah, sorry?
yeah, sorry. Yes, it's there is a level of breaking up the sound. That's why I guess we keep talking over each other.
Mm.
There is a delay, a slight delay. But anyway, what so so the our society is pretty much convinced about the law of gravity at this stage. Like we we kind of feel it, like we kind of see it, right? Everything sticks to the earth, everything comes back to the earth, blah, blah, blah. We see it. We know it exists. It's not really the case with the law of attraction. It's a bit like out of this world. And I think that's where the tricky piece is for, so many people to still have doubts around it. Is there anything you could say to help people see that it is the part of our reality?
Yeah, like if you could, like the different ways. Like the fun thing is like if you allow yourself, like, okay, show me proof, law of attraction. I want to see butterflies, or I want to see certain coins, or and then kind of being playful about it, so you have no heavy feelings. You feel you are free resistance. You're kind of okay. I cannot be bothered if it happens or not, right? It's just like show me that it's existing. You can do these games with it, and you will be surprised what will come into your experience, because it's just how it is. If it's free of resistance and that's your frequency you choose, so your thoughts are lined up with that, then it can only come into your experience with ease and joy, right? And another thing is like stop observing your reality. If you're only looking at difficult things, then you only say, you see, this very difficult thing happened again. So you're all the time by your senses, by your eyes, by what you hear, and you say, you see, it happened again, because that's what you expect. That's
And
the
it's so,
frequency. You
it's
keep
so
on thi-
yeah, it's so funny, in Lithuania we have a proverb that says a problem doesn't, it's just a rough translation to English, but it's something like a problem doesn't walk alone, as if, as in like if something bad happened, something else bad is gonna happen, and then and then more and more, you know. So even
Yeah.
the folk wisdom, says that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that we've been a lot conditioned. Like we first have to see it before we believe it, and it is the opposite. Dr. Wayne Dyer, a few years back ago, he passed away. You really have to visualize it, feel it, and then it will come to you. And that's
Yeah,
something we haven't learned. We learned the opposite.
right. And I think there's a level of confusion. So typically entrepreneurs know about the law of attraction. Typically entrepreneurs are into things like Think and Grow Rich. And I was like that. And I used to, there is a statement that you write down on a piece of paper and you read it, last thing at night and first thing in the morning. And I was doing that. And instead of actually, basically, I was getting nowhere. And it was working the opposite way. It was making me feel bad. Like,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So, and then later on, right? If you, and you, I'd like you to talk about it, but later on, I realized that's not all. I needed, that's not all that needs to happen. And in fact, it can work against you, right? If you do it incorrectly, right? Can you talk to
Mm-hmm.
that?
Yeah. Yeah, I can talk about that because then indeed there are two ends of the stick, right? So you really, if then you, as you say, emphasize what is not there. So it makes you feel even
Mm,
more confronted with what is not there because it's the gap. You are feeding the gap, and the gap of the missing gets bigger, right? I want this, but actually you ask it from a frequential point of view where there is kind of resistance and lack. So the lack, the feeling of lack is getting emphasized, it's getting bigger. And actually, and that it's fine, but it's very understandable. So during my coaching, there is quite some exercises towards unconscious beliefs as well, because
mhm,
we might not realize like, oh, this is actually holding me back, or this is actually, if I'm
mhm.
really bold, this is my true belief about this. And if you allow yourself to lovingly look at this and then transform it through these exercises and then do what you did, then it's such another frequential point of view, right? Instead of the lack, you are in the trust and in the allowance, and you really have that positive expectation.
Yeah, and I
Right?
so I guess the point is that if you are doing affirmations and they are making you feel worse, it's a
Wait.
good idea to stop and dig deeper.
Absolutely.
Because by
Absolutely.
doing it incorrectly, by doing it the way that it makes you feel worse, you are reinforcing the problem that you want to go away.
Avoid. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Absolutely. And that's such a great realization. And then the thing is with law of attraction as well, there is so much online, like with nowadays, the whole information overload in general. And if I
Mm-hmm.
think in this as well, and then in your specific coaching as well, take that coaching and then make it personalized, and then you are set basically for the rest of your life because you have a deeper understanding. But if you really want to make it work, I really recommend you, and not because I do it. I mean, there are a ton of coaches, though I think my combination with hormonal health and law of attraction, I really love that. I really would allow people who are really open to it to really get a hang of it and then take
Yeah,
steps.
it's so interesting, when you talk about personalizing the approach. I am an approach person. So I do teach marketing and selling. However, and yes, there is a framework, but it's a rough framework. There is so much space for jazzing it up, for improvising. And in fact, it's imperative that you infuse your personality. And that's where we start before we even get into the actual framework. But the framework itself is it has so much space because it aligns with the universe, not with the universe and nature's laws and human laws and psychology,
Yeah,
not with man-made stuff, platforms and funnels and whatever, It's an I did everything, and it's an ongoing process, as I learn more. and more about how universe works, but my desire was to strip away as much of human-made stuff as possible, so that you have a tool that you alone are in control of, and also you get the universe to support you in what you're doing. So, so I love that you mentioned personal. I didn't really use that word personalize, but as you're explaining, that's what I'm realizing, you know. So yeah, so that is such key. And personalization is actually easy, isn't it? As soon as you dial into yourself, da-da, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yes. Huh, fantastic.
That's beautiful. That's where the whole answer is, right? For me, I did start with strategies. I did personal development. Obviously, it wasn't enough. So strategies was my answer. And I was grinding. I was grinding. I can grind. I can.
Mm-hmm.
Is it worth
Mm-hmm.
it? Right? Not that much. So, okay, there is this other question. So there is, what's the difference? So a lot of people in our industry are talking about reception or receiving or the law of reception. What is the difference? Or is there a difference? Or is it the same thing, the law of attraction and
It is getting in the receptive mode. And what is being in the receptive mode? It's feeling good with yourself in now, 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 right? It's really feeling fine where you're now, and feeling satisfaction where you're now. So that's the basics of being in the receptive mode. How can you create this with everything around us and all the things we believe we have to do? Start to do a rampage about appreciation with everything what you see. I'm sitting on my desk now, you as well. You saw the bird flock, right? Fantastic. Like, thank you, electricity. Thank you, lamp. Thank you, wonderful glass of water being next to me. Thank you, desk, for being here. And do this for 5 or 10 minutes. You are in the receptive mode. Ta-da! That's it.
how do you do that when it's
Because
something
then you
really
have
good?
created. Sorry, how to
Yeah,
do that?
yeah, my thoughts are all over the place. I want to ask so many questions. And I was doing that a couple of weeks ago, I think. I started practicing. It goes up and down, on and off, kind of, but I got this. I was not in a very good place, and I was doing everything I can to feel better. So I decided to appreciate or thank, to be grateful for everything I touch. So if I touch something, if I touch this mic, I'm grateful. If I touch this glass of water, I'm grateful. If blah, blah, blah. It's not that easy, you know? It's not always
Mm-hmm.
easy. And I
Mm-hmm.
was like, for
Mm-hmm.
sorry and a bit graphic, but we have two cats and one cat pooped on the floor, so I have to clean. Well, it's life. Like it happens for everyone. But I'm cleaning that thing and I'm like, I'm grateful, I'm grateful, and I'm walking. But I did
Yeah.
I didn't want to say it, but I started saying it just for the for
Yeah, for the saying for it.
comedy value, and yet
Yeah.
it did make me feel better. You know.
Because you keep continuing. Because it is interesting. Because as you say, when you feel really low and all over the place, it can help you to change that frequency of heaviness and chaoticness towards like, hey, actually I come into a flow. Or you notice like, oh, I just really don't feel like it. Then I would really go walk outside in nature, put on music, start to dance, do really distract you in the most nice way for you.
That
Like, so
specific,
it's it's not,
that,
yeah, like
sorry.
I dance every morning towards my emotions. Like I have
Mm.
12 or 15 emotions I want to feel, and I just love to create. And it I love it. And maybe somebody else really is good in meditation in the morning. Somebody else really wants to touch the leaves of the bush outside of their house. You know, there is no wrong. It's just like how to create that you feel good. You create it, you
Yeah.
never wait. You never wait, but you have always the choice to create it. And that's something you have to allow yourself to fine tune with you.
Yeah, and tell me, I think what I also noticed now that when I learned a while ago now that, oh, okay, thoughts, words, everything, those things matter. I should do everything to feel positive feelings and think positive thoughts. You know what I noticed at some point as well? That I was pushing away the negative ones when they were happening. And I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's still very important to recognize that you're feeling shitty, to recognize that it's painful, but then from that point to move to this other in this other direction towards
Yeah.
resolving that. But you need to recognize that you are,
Yes, totally.
instead of
Not
just
suppressing.
instead of avoiding
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Totally. And it sometimes it depends where you catch yourself, right? Because sometimes you feel like, oh, if I would go, then I would start feeling bad. Sometimes the car just goes off hill, downhill, and it already is up to speed, that emotion. Let it roll. Because once it will stop, it will end off the cliff and then it stops, and this is where the acknowledgement comes in, and you just let it roll and it's fine.
Mm.
Allowed. So, but
And
it depends where you catch it, right? And how big it is.
okay, so maybe that's key because my next question was gonna be, is it gonna wreck my manifestation? Like I'm trying to manifest something and now and today I'm feeling shitty and things are not going my way, or I had an argument with my kid, or I don't know, something happened, whatever, you know. And now I'm not in this very positive situation and not feeling very well. And now I'm beating myself for not feeling very well. And I'm afraid I'm wrecking
Yeah.
my manifestation.
You are fine. There is a buffer. What I've
Okay.
learned as well in advanced law of attraction, like to really change a frequency, it takes 2 months, actually, if you
Oh,
really want to go deep down. Wow, right? So no worries, you have a buffer. Like if you have a day, and usually it's not even a day because it's moments, we make it feels like a day. Take a break. Take a break. Make it as loving and supportive for yourself and acknowledging. Like put a towel around you, or how do you blanket, sit in front of the drink, eat your chocolate, whatever. Allow it to be there and just kind of like being as much as embrace it. Embrace that very shitty, dreadful feeling. You are fine. You're really fine.
that is a relief, because, and I think, and I've heard people asking that question, that specific question in a few places, am I wrecking my manifestation if I'm not feeling well today? If something really bad happens and life happens, like illness, death, whatever, Um, okay, so that's okay. I think when you're saying about a buffer as well, I think we are taught, and this is something really like I'm not so sure. So explain. Are we talking about the concept like core frequency or something like that? Your general, like your core, regardless of your
Yeah.
short-term emotions or feelings, your
Yeah.
frequency, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're usually getting better and better in practicing, like, hey, I am fine, and you're kind of quite fine, right? You feel quite like, I'm fine. I'm satisfied, and I'm like, you practice this, right? You get, so you create this core frequency indeed. And if you have a day you're really off, no worries, right? Because your deep core um, is already primed towards that fine
Mhm.
frequency. So you cannot just throw it out in one day that it breaks, right? That's not the
That's
case.
amazing.
Really not. Yeah.
That's really cool. That's empowering, actually. And I'm suspecting that by denying the heaviness when it happens, the pain, or those things, we are pushing down onto that core frequency if we continue denying our emotions and feelings. We're not gonna let them
Yes.
resolve if we deny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. That is really cool.
Yes.
Okay, so, and you mentioned quite a few things that people can start doing if they are not doing those things already, but something that people could start doing, like today, to start get, so to start shifting, to kickstart a shift today. Is there any tips you could suggest?
Yeah, um, I really would go into the embodiment. So write down the emotions you want to feel, like, and really put on music and close the curtains or whatever. Just dance in your own way to embody these emotions. And do this in the morning and in the evening, depending how long the song will take and how many emotions you have. Like I have about what I said, maybe 15, and it takes me 4 minutes. It's fun. And then you really embody it. It's not just saying, it's really about the feeling. Really feeling what you dance, and just see it as a fun exercise for you, like a nourishment exercise. So it has many elements, and you can start straight. And if you do this consistently, because that's key, that's with toothbrushing as well, taking care of your sleep, this make it a part of your daily loving routine, your happy
Mm,
to-do list, right? Morning, evening, and do this. So it can be like trust, clarity, romance, feeling comfortable, feeling love and connection, feeling rich, satisfied. I just share what I have written down. Happiness, successful, worthy, playful, joy, funny, and freedom. Now, and whatever feels fine for you, you want to create for you. So it
mm.
has many layers, and it sounds like, oh, this is very childish, whatever you label it, just make it work for you.
Love it. Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm looking at the clock, and I ask my guests three blitz questions. So that's what I'm gonna do with you as well. Super easy, simple. But before that, and you did say what you do and who you work with, but if you would like to add something, please do, and also where people can connect with you as well.
Yes, perfect. So people can find me on Facebook currently. That's where I have at this moment my only platform. Ineke in Laos, Ineke in Laos, Laos. And then you can see my banner if you want to come in my group, right? If it resonates with you. So I really focus on helping female expat entrepreneurs reignite with their inner spark by practicing law of attraction, really, really practicing, so they can create joy and success in their life business. And it's one-on-one coaching. And soon I will have like a nice like premium package really for like 3 or 6 months. So really to step into to this journey and towards like health, relationships, career, and money, and really changing that frequency in a way which works for you with personalized techniques, which you can use for the rest of your life to what you want to attract in your life for the
Sounds
fun, right?
very cool. Sounds very cool. I will, yeah, Facebook is my main platform as well. At the moment, but I will include the links, whatever links you want to share, in the show notes.
Yeah, please.
And so the first this question is, what change would you like to see in the world?
Love. That everything is from a place of love.
Yeah. And if, and I guess we can probably say when that's the case, then everything is gonna be different, right? Love is the natural state, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm. Yes.
What impact would you personally like to create in the world?
Mm. Really, that I embody like any other person, though I'm really happy to be upfront to show the love and clarity and inspire people from this place by publicly speaking, by my coaching, by creating retreats, being part of retreats, being a public speaker, and having some beautiful herbs as well, like in dried form, which can really increase your clarity and energy to feel more easily aligned. Yeah.
Amazing. And the last one is when you hear from grind to grace, what goes through your mind?
From struggle to loving flow.
Ah, beautiful. Yes, and that's exactly what this is all about. So thank you so much for being here. It was so interesting and very useful and insightful. And I got some answers for myself as well, which is amazing. Let me it. Thank you so much, Ineke. And yeah, for everyone listening, I I do believe you got some value. And if you do believe that you got some value, please share this. Please pass it forward and let's turn this into a mission because you and we deserve to create from the place of freedom. So,
Yeah, and I think we really have to make a picture, right, of us because this is so cool.
yeah, so the recording, I will we can do that, but you will there will be it's gonna be on YouTube as well. And so
Or we can smile now when I make a print screen and I send it to you.
okay.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a nice one. Yeah, please.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks everyone, and I'll talk to you next week.